Now, the Supreme Court has asked the petitioners to mark those who have been illegally left out from the draft list after it is published on 1st August. The Supreme Court said that there is a 30-day process for adding and correcting names in the list. And if names have been excluded on a large scale, we will intervene. Well, that is the big breaking news that we're getting you at this point in time. As far as the SIR, the Special Intensive Revision of the Electoral Rolls is concerned, a bench of Justice Suryakant and Justice Joy Malabakchi said that the voters list of January 2025 is the basis on which the SIR process is going on. The Supreme Court said that we are monitoring this process and will intervene if needed. The Supreme Court will now hear the matter in details on 12th to 13th August this year. Well, that is the big breaking news that we're getting you at this point in time. My colleague Verghese is joining me live to get us more updates. Well, Verghese, this is a big move coming from the top court that has asked the petitioners to specifically mark out those who have been left out from the draft list that is set to be published from 1st August. Now, this is the foremost ammunition of the government, where they have been maintaining that you have 1 month's time between 1st August and 1st September. If there is any discrepancy, if you have any objections, so any political party or a political entity can challenge that in with the Election Commission or take legal remedy against it.
Well, they have been saying there's a legal remedy about it. But interestingly over here, Samia, what we see here is that the court is saying that there are actual parties to this case. Who are the actual parties? The ones who have been excluded. They are the ones who should be coming up and raising this issue. The rest of them are actually acting from the periphery, saying there are chances of a large-scale disenfranchisement, as they claim. Mostly political parties and other organizations that have been part of the petition process. So the actual people who would be suffering from this, they are the ones also who need to be identified as petitioners in this. So the court is there, in fact, asking as those who have been excluded on a large scale, do they have a problem with that exclusion, or is it that only those who are politically or have an interest who are actually looking into this case? That's why they have gone ahead and ensured that they asked for the petitioners to be marked, and those who are, and the court also assures the petitioners, saying that we are monitoring the process. It's not that we are not monitoring the process, but if there are large-scale exclusions that can affect the very nature of the democratic process, they would intervene, is what the court has said. Now, interestingly enough, we have to see as to whether they will be able to, in fact, mark those people who have also been excluded. Now, the onus is on the petitioners to prove that there has been large-scale exclusions that have happened as of now, and because of which it could affect the electoral outcome of the candidates representing the parties that they are from. So that is something now the onus is on them to prove that these large-scale exclusions are happening on the ground, Samia.
Well, Verghese, also take us through what is going to be the time frame for this, is because now, of course, the court is set to hear the matter on 12th to 13th August. We are already standing today at the fag end of July. So by when can we expect the Supreme Court to take up this matter and hear, and by when would the petitioners be ready with the name list of those who have been included? Because time is of foremost priority over here, since we are talking about the Bihar elections round the corner.
Yes, interestingly enough, what we understand over here is that when the lists are going to come out, we have seen the preliminary list which kept on identifying the number of voters who are not there, or rather who have deceased. These things have been identified in the list. Now, on August 1st, the revised list is again going to come in. So they'll have to wait till August 1st to find out who are the people who have been actually aggrieved on this, and whether they would join as party in this particular case. So clearly, this becomes a very important factor when it comes to this entire hearing that is happening in the Supreme Court on the SIR, because now the big question is, as the process is moving from one phase to the other, each phase is being looked into, scrutinized, and at the same time they are also ensuring that each phase has some kind of a legitimate scrutiny happening from the parts of the petitioners as well. That is why they said that you get the list and you approach the court. So interestingly enough, the court is letting the exercise happen on one side, and it's also letting the petitioners to raise their query on the other side, so that the process in itself is not halted.